Hi, friends, fans, and anybody else out there. My name's Ellen Stagg, photographer, if you don't know me, and I wanted to admit to something that has happened to me recently because I don't really do these kind of videos, and I think this is the best way to do it because I'm dyslexic and I don't write things. So, anyway, I have Lyme disease, and I was diagnosed about 2 months ago. It all started early April. I had a really, really bad headache, and I went to a doctor, and the doctor said that I probably had a tension headache. She gave me naproxen. I took it, and the headache was still there. Like taking painkillers, and the headache wasn't going away. Kind of felt like a really, really bad hangover, but I wasn't drinking because the headache was that bad. I was like, I don't need a hangover on top of this horrible headache. So I called the doctor after a week, and I said, my headache's still there. And she thought I was being combative. And I said, well, of course I'm being combative. I've had a headache for 2 weeks now. So I decided to see a different doctor. I went to the doctors at urgent care at Mount Sinai in Union Square because I couldn't get an appointment with my PCP that I've been seeing for a couple years. They told me it was just a migraine, gave me a migraine shot and a pain shot, and also ordered a CT scan of my brain just to make sure. CT scan came back negative, and the migraine shot and the pain shot didn't really work either. So I made an appointment with my PCP's nurse practitioner, and the urgent care at Mount Sinai also suggested I see a neurologist. However, the neurologist was really busy and it was really hard to get an appointment with him. But I made the appointment anyway. I also saw an allergist where they did a prick test to me, and all that came back negative. An ear, nose, and throat doctor to see if it was allergies. That came back also negative. He said there's no drips or any snot of any kind. So when I first saw the PCP's nurse practitioner, she was like, maybe it is allergies, I'll give you allergy medicine. The allergy medicine kind of seemed like it was working, but not really. So finally, I was able to get an appointment with the neurologist, but this was in mid-June. So mind you, I started this headache back in April, early April. So it's April, May, and mid-June. So for 2.5 months, I had a headache. And it was pretty bad, like sledgehammer to the back of my head, and it was like traveling around my skull, in my sinuses, in my forehead, in the back of my head. So I saw the neurologist. He was like, no, you just have a migraine. He gave me some hardcore migraine medicine that made me just fall asleep, and he put me on some steroids. I took the steroids for a week, and a couple days after I was done with the last thing of steroids, I got really, really bad vertigo. Like, so bad I couldn't breathe. I was seeing double. I felt like I was poisoned. It was surreal. I didn't feel like I was in my own body. I ended up going to another urgent care, and they were like, you should go get an MRI, which, by the way, the reason I never went to an emergency room for any of this stuff is because my insurance company doesn't pay for emergency rooms. And I said that, oh yeah, my neurologist had given me a prescription for an MRI at Mount Sinai in Union Square, and that was happening in 2 days. And they were like, well, you should just wait for that. Why that took a week and a half after I saw the neurologist, it's also an insurance company thing. I had to get approval from them. So that Monday I got a MRI of my brain, which came back clear, thankfully. But the vertigo was still really, really, really badly there. Like, so bad I wanted to scream in my own skin. I had to quit shoots, paid shoots. I basically couldn't do anything but lay around and take this hardcore migraine medicine that would make me pass out. So it was useless if I was awake, and I was useless if I was asleep. So I then called my neurologist, and I was like, this vertigo is really, really bad. I don't know what to do. He was like, I'm going to put you on Valium. I've never taken Valium before. I don't know if you guys have, but that's also pretty intense, and it makes you also feel a little bit crazy. So I took Valium. It kind of helped the vertigo, but it was really hard to function. So 3 weeks went by, and I'm like having nervous breakdowns because I can't live in my own skin. I am so depressed and upset and freaked out that like there was even moments where I felt like killing myself. I was like, I can't live like this if this is supposed to be my life. I'm seeing double. I have the worst brain fog ever where I threw my keys in the garbage. I was forgetting numbers, and I'm already, as I said, dyslexic, but I was doing numbers backwards. These two fingers started like crunching up like this, and I couldn't straighten them. The whole left side of my body was hurting me. My knee was hurting me. All this crazy stuff was happening to me. So I'm Googling like what is going on. And besides brain parasite, that was coming up, but they would have seen on my MRI or CAT scan. Lyme disease, of course, was one of the things that was coming up. So I was so desperate that I went back to the urgent care at Mount Sinai and was crying buckets, like, please test me for Lyme. The reason that they didn't test me before this, let me rewind a little bit, is because I actually, most of my 30s, was suffering from hyperparathyroid, and they didn't find that till I was 28 years old because of a calcium test. So 2.5 years ago, I had that removed, and when I had that removed, I was having weird tingles in my hands and feet. Like I'd be sitting at a restaurant and I'd have to get up because my legs were asleep. So I was telling the doctor I'm having these really weird tingles. He said it was calcium withdrawal. But then 6 months later, I'm still having them. And he was like, no, you shouldn't be still having them. So I asked a doctor after a friend told me that they were having tingles, and that's when they found out they had Lyme disease. So I had a doctor at Mount Sinai test me, and it came back negative. Also, things that I figured out online, there's a lot of false negatives out there. So fast forward from a year and a half ago getting tested twice to about 3 months ago getting tested at urgent care, and that also came back negative, and I'm literally losing my mind. And so I Googled the best Lyme specialists in New York, found two, and was like, whatever one can see me first, I'm going to give them my money. As I was filling out the pages and pages of paperwork to see this Lyme specialist, I just realized I'm checking off everything that's saying, yes, you have Lyme disease. Like every symptom, from the vertigo, from the pain everywhere, the tingling, the double vision, terrible headache. I mean, like the list just goes on and on. So I met with this doctor, and he said, yeah, sounds like you have Lyme. I'm going to test you anyway, but I'm going to put you on the regimen of antibiotics. Within 48 hours of taking these antibiotics, I started feeling better. Not 100%, but like I could function. Within a week of taking the antibiotics, I could shoot again, which was good because I had some paid gigs that I needed to take. They sent my blood, that Lyme specialist sent my blood to Germany, and supposedly because there are labs in the United States that aren't great at testing for Lyme, and it did come back that I am most definitely positive for Lyme. It was really frustrating, to say the least, because what's going on with all these doctors at Mount Sinai that it kept coming back negative, and they thought I was just migraines. And you might know people out there who have Lyme disease. I mean, my brother's had it twice, but like the symptoms I was having was just insanity. So I just am finishing my 8th week of antibiotics. I'm still not 100%. I'm still getting weird headaches here and there. I'm still having double vision here and there. And I'm kind of really nervous because things that I've seen and read online is after the antibiotics, sometimes people get worse again. I'm meeting back with the specialist in a week, and I also found another specialist who deals with Lyme just verbally and not with antibiotics. I'm willing to do anything to get healthy and to function again. I also went on a strict paleo diet, which is supposed to be good for Lyme. And yeah, just trying to take care of everything. I am making this video, one, to tell everybody, because it's just sometimes easier to tell people what I've been going through, because even my closest friends, I've told them, and they're like, you're still on antibiotics? But also I'm making this video because a friend of mine, I was telling her how much money this is actually costing me. All the supplements I'm taking so many pills, it's insane. The specialist for Lyme doesn't take my insurance, which is completely out of pocket. The blood test to Germany was completely out of pocket. It's kind of insane and overwhelming. So I was telling my friend about how expensive everything is, and she was like, oh, I'll do a GoFundMe for you. And as much as I was super flattered by that, and I have most definitely given money to other GoFundMes, it was just something that seemed a little funny to me to do it for myself, only because I have so many websites out there that I asked for money for people. There's easy ways online for people to give me money. So I'm doing this video because I'm asking you for my help. My bills are getting crazy and I'm very sick. I'm continuing to make work and I want to do more work, but I want to also be healthy to do it. I am making a list right here of all of my websites and my Patreon, Stag Street, my Etsy, my boudoir site, all of them. I'll also make a link in my Vimeo of all these sites. So I'm just asking kindly if any of you out there could help me. It's been really, really awful and sucky to be sick, and it's even worse when it's so damn expensive to try and feel better. Yeah. So I'm asking nicely if you could please help, even if it's the smallest thing. Buy an original piece of artwork, join my Patreon or my sites. Just do it in a way that can help me financially, because it's been really, really, really hard. I'm going to probably also make more of these videos because, as I said a couple times now in this video, I am very dyslexic and I'm terrible at writing, and it's obvious that I'm pretty damn good at talking. So I will talk and make videos about my process. If you want to ask me any questions about my Lyme disease or my life or my photography or anything, I will make these videos and put it on my Patreon. And so I can get to know you and you can get to know me a little bit better. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening and looking at this video. I know it was really long, but it's been a long process and a lot of illness that I've gone through. And yes, if one last question, if you think, oh, were you even bit by a tick? Yes, I was bit by a tick 3.5 years ago, and stupidly, I did not go straight to the doctor. But since I was dealing with my parathyroid issues at that time, I think they all just got muddled into one with all the different symptoms. So thank you so much for watching. Please check out my sites. Please take something of mine, my artwork, in exchange for helping me. I would love that. Would love for you to own it. One of my books, one of my Polaroids, anything. If you even have a request, please just email me. Thank you so much.